back. So today we're going to cover something, and before this, we're going to cover this in 13 minutes. That's my aim. Super quick, super fast, super junk. Open, move to space, and just change this line just so when we click, our character doesn't start moving if we click on the UI element, which we don't want that. It won't move to the UI element, it will just kind of, the UI element won't stop it, because UI elements can't stop like class that way, because UI elements are above everything. So we just add this little thing that says, hey, if our mouse isn't over a game object, and by game object it's trained by a UI game object, then you can do it. Otherwise, obviously, no. It doesn't. You will still move if your mouse is over a game object, but you can't like select a new position. Now we're gonna do a bunch of stuff. We need a few things first. We need to add a few more layers. We need to add add one called terrain. I forgot about that. We want to add one called players. So terrain, players, and markers. I have changed a little bit of the UI, not like graphically. I just the only thing I have changed is I turned off shot main, by the way. There we go. The only thing I had changed was the anchors were a bit weird, so they just kind of go a bit weird sometimes, so you get sometimes have to change them manually. Don't know why. Turn off shot main for now, just so we can actually look at the thing. Obviously, I'm going to remind you that when you start the game, the shot main will up here. Don't worry about that. That's because shot main is deactivated. Just deactivate it again whenever you test the thing. Make sure you activate it. If you see that error, just activate it. Okay. So we don't need touch UI. We gotta make sure this is overlaid, because I've just like recorded this twice, and I wasn't really I didn't record it twice. I recorded it once, but I did it once beforehand just to see how I could do it, and I'm pretty happy with how fast I am. So this is what we want to do. But the thing is, there's a few things we need to do. We need to have a MiniMap camera. So let's go over that. This depth, it should be one more than the camera depth. If you've ever done something like this before with UI, you will know there's a slight problem happening. I won't say I know how to fix it, by the way, so if you know this problem, I will fix it. I'm just kind of doing the long way around. Just that way people can get how it's done. So we want to make sure our position is 0, 0, 0, or essentially the same position as your map, which is here. So this is 3, 3, 3, but that makes the middle 0, 0, 0. So just kind of do it so it seems in the middle. You can tinker around. You want to make sure Y is 10. And then you want to make sure your rotation is 90. That will make your camera face downwards, so you can see the ground. Now you can make this as big as you want. I think my thing was 140. No, 150. Oh, 130. Yeah, 130. Okay, there we go. I did do have a few values, because these ones are really hard to set. They took a lot of time to muck around with, and they took me like 5 minutes to muck around with. So let's go through this. So that's our camera. Okay, let's keep going. This is going to be called our MiniMap camera. So we'll go MiniMap. We want to push this up. And then we want to make sure this is 0. Good. Now this is where we do stuff. I am going to try and make it a bit bigger. Can I? When I zoom down, you will notice something, don't you? We'll make it back to 60, I guess. It's kind of hard to see though. How about we just... Yes, okay, we're just going to turn it into the screen. This is what you see right now. The depth, and make it 0, 0. So this is our MiniMap. Don't worry about this thing back here, because if you know how it works, the Moba camera does stuff like that and then gets switched around by the script. Obviously, make sure whenever you create a camera, if you already have a main camera, you want to remove your audio listener, because you can only have one in the scene. Otherwise, it just won't render the object, which is weird, but that's fine. So this is what it looks like. We have skybox and we have depth. What's the difference? We also have colors. Skybox and colors are the exact same. When you click color, it goes to solid color for some weird reason. And you obviously have nothing. Nothing kind of does at the very back. So it's kind of, as you see, it's behind everything. It's even behind this camera. Which is, why does it do that? It's just how it works, I guess. Skybox, it renders these kind of little border things. Hope you can see my mouse. I don't know if you can. But see the little blue borders to the left and right? That's what it renders. Depth doesn't render those. So if we go to our camera here, we change this to depth, you see that there's none of that. We do kind of want a skybox. We could remove it though. So we can go back to our minimap camera. And as your perspective, you can see that the left and right side of each of these black buildings, you can kind of see. Even it's on the top, like left corner with this little white tower thing. You can definitely see it's perspective. It's from what perspective you are. I can see different parts of the building. As I change it, you can see different parts. It's totally perspective oriented. What we want to choose, we want to change this to orthographic. Bring this back like 12, maybe like 100. And now you can only see the top of the buildings because it's like if you're top of it. We want to make this size 70. It's quite big, isn't it? Yeah, because we're going to make change of your values. Now you want to make x 0.81. This will put it in the bottom right corner. So actually we'll make the size like 150 for now. We'll make it 0. So this is the rules. 0011 is the middle of the screen. And x is always going to be x. Regardless where you are, x is always going to change the size. If you're on the top right or bottom right, see what y does? As we increase it, it goes in that direction. It's a really weird thing. It kind of does this weird poppy thing. It's really annoying. You will rarely ever change w, but you always want to keep it higher than 0. I rarely change it, I want to say. I don't remember ever really changing it. You do sometimes want to change it if you got borders. If you're using skybox, it does matter, I believe. No, it doesn't matter. Okay, I know there's some circumstances it matters, but okay. So we want to change this to 0.5. That brings in the bottom 0.5 half. 1 brings in the top half. Okay, we want to bring it over to about here. I think the thing is 0.8. Oops, not that one. 0.81. Okay. Then we want to make our y negative 0.58. And we're going to make this 0.8. What you will notice is that it's actually there, but it's behind the UI. I'll be right back. Sorry, family. You will notice that the like watching something here. You will notice that this is actually behind the UI element. How do we make it in front? Now this, I'm going to do this quite quickly because we're already 8 minutes in. Trying to beat 5 minutes now. So what we want to do is we want to make a new camera. There's a problem here. This depth is 0 and so is this. Which will make this depth 1 because we want the minimap to be in front of the UI. This is going to be our camera UI. We're going to make sure this is perspective. I don't think it matters. It doesn't matter. And then we want to make it sure that it I think this is fine. I don't think we actually care about anything. Yeah, now we do care about the position, however. So we're going to make sure this is 0, 0, 0. And we're going to make sure it looks the exact same as the previous prefab camera. So this camera here has got look the exact same. They look the exact same here. It's 20. Otherwise, they're pretty much the same. I can't see any difference. Yep, good. It's only because this is prefab, it's got that little thing. Now we do need to add all previous results. So this will actually affect the main camera position. So we're going to copy and paste this in. It won't work because we have to actually enter it. I think it's 8034. Yes, and negative 0.44. You may think it makes no difference. It does. See that tiny little shift? That can make a massive difference. And the reason you want in the exact same position is because if I don't, and I'll show you why, I'll turn off this camera and I'll make our canvas. Here we go. We want to make sure this is camera, and let's see if we make it the main camera. It looks fine now. There's no difference. But when we do this, wait, where did it go? Yep. The camera tilted, so did that. So we essentially want to stop that from happening. So that's why we're going to put our UI here, turn on our UI, and because it looks the exact same, and we're never going to change it. So when we change it, the camera will kind of change with it. And so we just going to make sure they've got the exact same settings, because essentially we want this kind of view here. And that's it. There's nothing else to it. Now we go to our culling masks. These are essentially what we're going to render. So each camera can render different things. This thing, we got to make sure this doesn't render a UI, because we don't really want it to render UI. Maybe we do in the future, but right now we don't want it to. Actually, we may want, yeah, we do actually kind of want to do it in the future. That's only for like when we want certain UI elements that are a world space. For example, let's say we want like a little screen that says something that you can walk up to, maybe in third person or whatever. This would be in a different game, not just MOBAs. For example, a third-person game, maybe a touch screen thing that you touch or whatever. That wouldn't be a camera element on your canvas. It would be a different canvas. Yeah, that would be more like an object. So we gotta make sure this is everything, but we do want to change our UI. We'll change our minimap first, and we gotta make sure our minimap does not include nothing but terrain, players. Actually not players, just terrain and markers. I'll show you why. So if we make this, oh, this could be 70 by the way. But if we make this like, I don't know, like 1, 2, I don't know, like 50. And then we make it 0 and 0 and 1. If we make this everything, see that little white dot there? That's our player. So you make it just players, we can see our little player. But we don't want our player. We don't want anything. Maybe we want water, but right now, terrain and markers looks fine for me. So expect our values. This was 0.81. This was negative something. Negative 0.58. And this was 0.8. Yeah, that's good. There we go. It's not in the perfect position, but it's pretty darn good. These are things are nasty to change. So we just want terrain and markers. And markers are like those little circle icons, like portraits for the characters. Okay, kind of running out of time. So if that pops up, I am getting a second monitor because I need to get to buy the HDMI cable. I'm being out to the shop for ages. Now our UI, we only want to render UI. Because otherwise we'll render the terrain. We don't want to render the terrain. Now big 0, 0, and our camera is -1. But there may be a slight difference here. That's because this is in skybox. We only want depth. Other skybox, it will just determine the skybox. Depth doesn't, and will only determine the stuff it makes. So this is the only thing in skybox. Everything else should be on depth. Whew. That was an absolute ages to do this. Other than that, I'm pretty happy with everything. And that's it. We're done. There's nothing else to it. Next episode, we will be... Remember, move your audio listeners. Obviously, and we will turn back on our shop main. I did separate our shop main from our GUI hub because it was kind of annoying to find the shop main sometimes. So just for simplicity, and here we go. We see our map down here. Looks pretty darn good. You know, our full minimap. If we change something, it will appear. So let's say we Turn off those trees. Go back to our game. I removed the boundaries so you can see the trees are gone. I think it's Y or L. Yeah, L keeps our character on there. So we can just kind of turn off a bunch more trees. So then we can go back into our game. You can see the trees are all gone. It's dynamic, so it's a very dynamic one, and it's very good. Now we'll be going to markers next time, but actually we can add a quick marker. Essentially, all you do is just add a sprite, or like a. We'll just how about we add a sphere, and we want to look at sphere. Player or cube. Why is our player all the way up here? So weird. Always add like another queue, I guess. Then we can pull this back down again. Instead of getting this weird capsule collider, we will just get a collider that will be box. And so now when we create a thing, that could be why I was having really weird pathfinding problems. Holy cow, this is 10 times better now. It actually pathfinds properly. I was having like weird click problems. But yeah. We'll make the sphere, go and get markers. And we're gonna change the color. Wait, what? Well, this is what we want. Materials to be like, I don't know, how do we do it? Like a pink. And we can actually see our pink down here. It's actually really small. Our map's a little small for our taste, right? So we're gonna make this sphere a little bit bigger, I think. That's the smart way to do it. So we're gonna scale it up by like 3, by 3, and by 3. I'm actually gonna keep this to be 1. So essentially we just kind of want like a flat surface. Maybe we'll make it like 5 by 5 by 5. And make this just 1. Make this like 10, 10. Now this is quite easy to see. You will notice this big friggin' flying sphere is walking around. Why is that? We don't want a sphere collider. We actually don't even need a box collider because we're doing our colliding on here. But essentially a sphere collider is not going to be drawn by main camera. So we're not going to draw markers. Make sure you select that and make sure your UI obviously won't. That won't draw markers. I can't see my marker. My marker does not exist. But it does exist on the bottom screen. Look at this. It is kind of weird because the thing's rotated wrong. This is actually how it's meant to look, but it's rotated wrong here. So the actual asset map's rotated wrong. So I am just going to rotate this by like, I don't know, 90 degrees. Let's turn off canvas. Get our MiniMap and rotate it by 90 degrees. So So it looks back. We will get an error because obviously it's deactivated, but this is what you want. Okay. Oh no, wrong way. So we have to go make sure our asset map. Oh, everything's rotated by 80. Let's rotate by 180. Then MiniMap will rotate by 0. Like this. And now we'll obviously get the errors back again, but don't worry about those. But essentially... Oh, no, that's not what we want. We want like 270. No, not you, 270. But you, 270. Then like you, 270. These are weird rotations. There we go, we're done. These are really weird rotations. I definitely don't suggest you rotate it like this. But hey, we have a big pink purple thing. Towers are being rendered above it, so it's not really being rendered at the highest level. What we can do to make it rendered at the highest level is we can just increase the Y by 10, and that should make it be rendered at the highest level. And it will now override everything. Obviously within its borders. I'm quite happy with that. Obviously you really shouldn't be mucking around with the like rotations like I am. It's being a bit lazy. You really should try to fix what's wrong. But I think that's perfect. I think there's nothing else to show. I will go through 21 minutes. Damn it. So I still got to the 20-minute mark. I'm trying to get to 13. I mean, problems obviously occur, and that was a slight problem, was that the rotations were a bit weird. Is this actually pathfinding, or is it just moving to IM? Yeah, it's just moving, it's not actually pathfinding. I've got to do pathfinding for that, yay. Fun times. Anyway guys, see you guys next time.